Secretary Leavitt, thanks very much for being with us. Mr. Chairman, I think perhaps Mr. Duncan was right in suggesting that we may be overreacting, but I believe that the American people want us to be safe rather than sorry. I think they will forgive us if we end up doing things and spending money that in the long run may turn out not to be necessary if, in fact, we are going forward vigorously to prevent what could be a horrible, horrible situation. I think we all remember or read that in 1918, some 50 million people in this world died from an influenza epidemic, and I think it is beholden upon our country and governments throughout the world to do everything that we can in every way to protect the American people and people throughout the world. I think Mr. Kucinich a moment ago raised some very important issues. And the issue is that our job as the government of the United States of America is not to worry at this moment about the corporate profits of the Roche Company or any other drug company, but to make certain that we are doing all that we can to prepare for what could be a terrible pandemic. I hope that in that context, we can all agree that now is not the time to be tiptoeing around intellectual property rights or for letting bald-faced profiteering inhibit our ability to prepare for a pandemic. This, in fact, is a matter of life and death. And the American people will never forgive us if we are not prepared and if we allow corporate profiteering to take the place of serious government action. I think most of us understand that one of the important tools that we now have at our disposal is getting caught up in that hemming and hawing about whether or not we go forward in terms of dealing with Roche. Tamiflu, as we all know, is the brand name of an antiviral medicine that is what we have right now for minimizing the scope and severity of damage from a pandemic flu outbreak. While we all no doubt support vigorous pursuit of an avian flu vaccine, antivirals are what we have got today, right now. But we don't have anywhere near the amount that we need, and I hope that the Secretary will address that important issue. All the speeches, all the reports are fine. Do we have the medicine that we need, and will we have it? The Infectious Diseases Society of America and the World Health Organization say the United States should have enough courses to treat from 25 to 40% of the population, our population. Right now, the U.S. only has enough to cover 1 to 2% of the population. So that is an issue I hope that you will address, sir, when you speak. Roche is the only company with a license to manufacture and sell Tamiflu in the United States. They have limited production capacity and simply cannot make enough Tamiflu to meet the demand. The World Health Organization says that it will take 10 years for Roche to adequately supply world demand for Tamiflu stockpiles. We don't have 10 years. Unfortunately, Roche has also been dragging its feet about licensing other manufacturers to mass produce it. So, Mr. Secretary, you come from an administration where most of the American people know bends over backwards to protect large multinational corporations, whether it's drug companies or oil companies. Now is not the time to worry about the profits or campaign contributions. Now is the time to protect the American people. If Roche does not have the capability of producing the volume of Tamiflu that we need, clearly what has got to happen is other companies have got to jump in. I know that Senator Schumer in the Senate has raised that issue. I hope that you will be able to tell us today that in one way or another, you are going to make certain that Roche, either through compulsory licensing or through a voluntary approach, working with other production capabilities and other companies, start producing the medicine that we need. This is not the time for a company to be making excessive profits when the American people do not have the medicine they need to protect themselves, nor for the world as well. So we hope that you will be strong in dealing with Roche and saying that the health and well-being of the American people comes before their corporate profits. Thank you very much.
Mr. Burton.